Welcome to Offset with Larry and the Big Man, Larry, Richert, Jay Caufield. Jay, good to be with you from my perspective.
Great
Episode 2,
yeah.
And Rob King was in this air chair, and now his duties covering Steelers football is the play-by-play voice.
We do understand that taking precedence over there. We totally get it, Rob. Yeah.
So Rob does a great job now in his second season. We wish him all the best. And this podcast is produced by One Team Media. I want to thank Brian Hess and his team. And also here at North Park Lounge, Cranberry. If you haven't been, Brad and his team have done a great job. This is a destination place.
Yeah.
And still, while it's warm, they got that outdoor beach vibe and the bamboo bar. So
he's done a great job with it. Yeah. I mean, the food's outstanding. He's done a great job. You can see it only when the season picks up, too. We get into football season. You know, it just kind of keeps hopping as the weather stays nice. Great spot.
I also want to thank Michael Spatchapoli, who's the Executive Vice President with Odyssey Pittsburgh 93.7 The Fan, a strategic partnership with him and Brian Hess. And it's watching Adam smash when those two are together.
And also Rourke Automotive Group. Dave Rourke and his team, they do a great job. We really appreciate them being a part of it.
Jay, and this is probably little known to your audience, your fan base, is that he's a connoisseur of dips when it comes to creating his own tailgate. And here we are, football season about to close out the preseason, get ready. But you're dip creator.
No, I really I really try and time. I'm kind of jonesing for that right now because it's right. You got preseason football, but I can't wait for season. Week 1, and really it's Alicia, my wife Alicia. I kind of alternate. I don't know what I want until I swear to God it's Wednesday. It hits me on Wednesday whether I want a buffalo chicken dip, whether I want like a 5-layer dip type of thing, or I want, the one it's like you think there's secret ingredients in it, but really it's Velveeta cheese and another spicy tomato. I know I'm giving it away a little bit, but truly my menu comes to me every week, and I have to get the midweek before I get that feeling, but I alternate, I rotate. Alicia does a great job preparing all this stuff for me.
And the Steelers
football season, we love it.
Will be on the road, so that'll be game 1, September 7th in New York against the Jets. A lot of drama right there to kick off the season with Aaron Rodgers going back to the Jets. Of course,
it is great. It is amazing scheduling-wise. Yeah, I can't believe how plays.
You got Fields who's hoping to show the Steelers, hey, you made a mistake by letting me go. Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers, by all accounts, he's trying to enjoy this process, and maybe that mindset will help him be as good as he can be at 41.
Well, I would think, too, if we recall, I'm not the full story when Aaron Rodgers flew out to New York from California. I think Aaron Glenn, right, is his new head coach there? Met with him. It was over within 1 minute.
Yeah,
so he flew all the way out there for them to tell him they're going in a different direction. I'll guarantee you, he was the best quarterback in the NFL for how many, still what he does, that never sits well. Total disrespect. Really, it should not have been done that way. And I'm saying that for you. You shouldn't do it to any athlete. Let him fly all the way out there to tell them they don't want him.
Especially with technology the way it is for that kind of scenario. Yeah, and that's left a sour taste in his mouth, and we'll see. But a lot of people questioning, at his age, can he be the Aaron Rodgers of old? People that I know that are really in the know say he could still throw. He's still got that, and he's got a PhD in offense, and he's really good at thinking on his feet. The question will be, is the line good enough to give him the time to keep him on his feet?
Yeah, really, that is going to be the thing, because what we're seeing in preseason with Rudolph and Thompson, they're mobile. They're getting around. They're moving out, even just through the preseason games that we've seen. Yeah, you want to give, and certainly Aaron Rodgers is smart enough and obviously what he's done over his whole career, but you don't want to see him not have the time to make the plays that he wants to make, because the happiness will end quick, right? He's not going to stand for it. They better, I'm sure, and they know it. They need to do a good job protecting him. So you can let everything take place and develop. Let the running game get going. You need a better running game, right? We know they need a better running game. So when everybody gets back healthy, and you hope they're healthy by the end of preseason, then you can start. But you need a running game to help the passing game, and always vice versa. You need all those pieces to come together.
I bet if you went downtown Pittsburgh today and asked people on the street, hey, who's the starting running back for the Steelers? you'd get a lot of this. I'm not sure, right? Is it Jalen Warren?
Yeah.
Is it Caleb Johnson, the rookie? How's this roll out? Is it Trey Sermon? Does he get a chance?
I tell you, I watched a number of them. They had good game. I mean, I think one of the things that was not a concern, but when you need a wake-up call, like Mike Tomlin had to let Caleb Johnson know he needs to pick it up. Well, that's good. That's like it's a wake-up call. Like, okay, I got to run away. We drafted you. Do we expect this from you? I think you're going to see that just only improve as it goes on. Sermon, they run hard. A lot of times are the holes there? What's going to be there for him? I mean, to make that happen, we know Jalen Warren, what he does and the hard work and hard running that he puts in. They need, again, it just has to be, it's got to be a threat. It just has to, it'll make everything that much easier and buy him time to find the weapons and what he's going to have. And DK Metcalf, it's been a number of years before we've seen this excitement or buzz. You know, Larry, with what you're doing down there for all the games, you had your first preseason game. I think the buzz that's around the Steelers right now is something exciting. It's great to be a part of and just being in the city with it. Can't wait for it to get going, and I'm sure the players are too, but there's a lot happening with it, and I think Aaron Rodgers in this mix, I'm hoping is going to be good.
I just hate the fact that we got to wait an extra weekend. Now, that said, college football kicks off, and a lot of people have allegiances, and who knows who will emerge to either Ohio State being the national champion from last year. I know Penn State's way up there. Pitt's hoping that they can find a way. We'll see.
But they laid the law down on Michigan. Then Michigan got hammered with,
they got really hammered. And that brings up this whole NIL thing, transfer portal, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But let me ask you about the Pirates.
Yeah.
I know everybody's beating up on ownership, and I understand why everybody's got their take, but you hope, because if they give you anything, like we saw when Clint Hurdle had those 3 playoff years, how this city reacted, I think the fans are really hungry and want something positive to happen, but we're not seeing it.
You know, I think there was a little run, right? Then when you have the pitching staff that you have, right? The pitching staff we know with Skeens and all the guys that follow up, they've got you're expecting, you hope they can get a run. They don't have, not getting hitting, not run support, all that goes with that. But even with that, Larry, this little take that's just taken place in the last week with sending, I think, I want to say it was, Andrew Heaney, right?
Right.
So he's 1 inning away from a bonus, and they send him to the bullpen. Now, it's the optics, right? It's the view of what the fan base has, what the outcry about it. Now, he's in the bullpen. I think he's going to get the first bonus, but I think he has a number, 130, 140, 150, 160 innings, and he gets a bonus on each one of those numbers coming up. That becomes more difficult. Now, it's if you're underperforming and that's the reason, it's just the timing of it just comes across really bad. Right? It just is. And
it just adds to the fire.
Man, it just does. I mean, you want to have something go well, but what I also think it does, it puts a spotlight on it in a way that any free agents, if you think you're going to land free agents and they see how some things are handled, they will want nothing to do with that. But by the way, you can field teams, because if you want a position in Major League Baseball and the Pirates are offering you one someday and you don't have many other options, you'll take it. But you might not get the ones that we think the fan base we all would want to see come in, or I don't know. And I'm not in that meeting room of what they did, but just the look of it. You got a guy who's 1 inning away from a bonus, and you take him out of the starting rotation.
Doesn't look good.
If that happened but listen, it's been done in sports before where guys, they need their, they get a bonus at 40 goals or 30 goals, whatever's in their contract. And if you don't dress them when they're right there, it goes across the league and goes across the fan base and the outcry that goes with it. And I don't blame anybody for feeling that way when you see them, unless there's some other story that goes with this. We'll probably find out in due time.
And believe me, it's a little over 35 games left.
Yeah. So how can you're not going to get the innings through your bullpen work, right?
Right.
See, that's where, for me, that's what I'm talking about. For me, Larry, I just find that is not that doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're the general public, we see it as fans of what's going on from the bricks, the Roberto Clemente. It's almost, can you find any other PR thing to do that maybe doesn't work right? It's bad time. And we talked about how everybody, the sports town, Pittsburgh, from the Penguins to the Steelers to the Pirates, we only want to see, the best happen for all the organizations, but they're taking a lot away from people to want to feel that way.
Just a sidebar is Roberto Clemente Jr. and his family, finally, after over 50 years now, a documentary is coming out about their dad. And it's going to be released 2 days before Roberto Clemente Day in mid-September in the league. And they've got it set up. They're going to show it in PNC Park as one example. And I think that's probably one of the good things.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. I can't believe it took 50 years to have a documentary. But
I told Roberto, and you know Roberto, you've seen him over the years. I said, the movie 42 was about Jackie Robinson. It was produced by Thomas Tull, who used to own Legendary Pictures, who's a minority owner of the Steelers now. And I said, I love that movie. Why not 21?
Yeah.
Why hasn't there been a movie? And I asked Roberto this. He goes, I know, for all these years we've been trying. So A, I'm happy to hear there is a documentary. And then B, they say that there are plans to have a Hollywood film. And I think this would be great for the city of Pittsburgh.
I think I was even in Philadelphia. I was growing up in Philly. I remember the day that all this went down. Like we all remember it. It was across the nation how it felt, or for us in the baseball world. So that's great. Well, I hope that's a good thing then.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the documentary as well. And I think obviously it'll go well with Pittsburghers. And one of the things I found out about Roberto going to the museum, have you been to the Clemente Museum?
Yep.
It's the first time I went there. Dwayne Reeder is the curator. Crazy story. His father-in-law was the late Bob Kudzma, KDK TV meteorologist who trained me years ago to do the weather.
You see, that's a Pittsburgh story. Yeah,
that's old school Pittsburgh. But Dwayne, operating the Roberto Clemente Museum, he makes wine there in the basement, and I'm walking through and I see Roberto in a United States Marine Corps uniform, and I said, I didn't know Roberto was a Marine. Almost nobody knows that. And he and John Banaszak, 3-time Super Bowl champ with the Steelers, are the only two athletes I know from the region who are in the Marine Corps Athletic Hall of Fame.
I had no idea either.
Right.
Never heard that.
And there's so many layers to Roberto.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
I think that's awesome. And that's a plus. For that.
NIL, name, image, likeness. You hear this a lot. You hear the consternation. You hear the criticism, how it's changed the game in college athletics.
Yeah.
And
trying to find
especially in basketball and football. Basketball, you're limited to the number of players, right?
Yeah.
So any movement there is a major hit. And then, of course, with football, they haven't figured this thing out. And then with the transfer portal, this makes coaching at that level so much more challenging. On one hand, to keep a team together. On the upside, you can change a team quicker than you ever could before, too, to change your fortunes.
Larry, I believe it was Northern Illinois University. That was
right.
So the head coach went on I say rant. It's not really a rant. He was just explaining for a couple minutes about what he doesn't like about it, how the integrity of the game, in a sense, is getting away. I always felt, and listen, I'm also saying that certainly athletes are bringing money to universities and what it means for in the basketball world. If you're a big NCAA program in basketball, hockey, football, but really football, you look at the numbers that come in and how much money is generated by your university and what you meant to it. I understand that there should be money that, hey, you deserve something or a piece of it. But I always also knew that I had a full scholarship, I had a full ride for football, and I thought that was my reward, which was a great thing. I get an education, I'm playing football, and I got my education paid for. And And then you come around, and that's what you learn from that, and all the hardships up and down, the good and bad that happens when you're playing college sports. His talk was about that guys are jumping ship, and it's ruining the smaller school, Division I school. They're losing their key players. They're moving on to other programs for money. And sometimes the player moves on, maybe doesn't play as much, doesn't get the same role, whatever it might be. I'm not a fan of it. The NCAA went from, hey,
you can't do anything
to opening up the bank vault, if you will. And now and I know Brad Berry's a good friend of mine. He's a University of North Dakota hockey coach who just got, released or let go over the summer. But he said that has changed the game in their hockey world. Like now it's different. Now you're getting a player and somebody will pay him $500,000. Somebody will do this. It's completely different. I found that again. I say it and I believed it. When I had a scholarship, they own you. They own you as an athlete, and your time that you have to spend in the football program is intense and a lot, and it never stops. But I do feel that that the money that has come into some universities through programs, I understand why people say that, hey, spread it around a little bit, but how does that go? What happened to the amateur athlete? The Olympics used to like more, I'm leading to Olympics because used to like Olympics because we were amateurs. They were amateurs and there was great stories. Now that's not even the case hardly anymore. But in the NIL deal, I'm not a fan of how they've let it happen at all. I mean, and somehow it needs to be harnessed or they're losing what it's going to be all about.
And it's hard to follow what exactly has happened. Even the president got involved, and I'm not sure what his executive order is actually going to do. There needs to be guardrails, and there needs to be real definitive. One thing is, if you sign a contract to come to our school, you need to stick to that contract. Those kids are able to move year to year.
I know.
Whoever's given them
transfer portal. It's a phrase of the one thing I'll say real quick. What I didn't like when I was in college and playing football was you were locked in. But that coach who brought you there could up and leave anytime he wanted. That I wasn't, because then you're stuck. Now you are stuck.
You're right.
Right?
That wasn't fair.
That wasn't fair.
So they're the victim of their own issues.
Yep.
Because the NCAA had these really strict. Now, my son played football at Duquesne. Technically, I couldn't take him and his roommate out for dinner. I mean, how ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or some of the kids that they brought in from, disadvantaged upbringings, didn't have a lot of money. They had no way to, if a parent, if they needed to fly home or, there were so many restrictions. And to your point, if your coach that recruited you left, you couldn't do anything about it unless you wanted to try to transfer and sit a year.
Yeah. Which again, now or go down to a lower level. To me, you couldn't make a lateral. I haven't been a fan of that, but I'm not a fan. Now they just went completely different. You go to transfer portal, go anywhere you want and try and play and get more money. I understand wanting to get money out of it because not everybody makes it to the next level. But the ones who are getting paid that, if you're getting big money in NIL deal, you're somebody that's probably trying to play at the next level.
And they're getting big money, Jay.
Yeah, I know. It's
big. Some of them big money.
So now it's the have and have nots.
High school kids are getting money in some cases.
It's the have and have nots again.
So why don't we do this? We'll throw out the non-compete for every business.
Yes,
everybody can just do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. There you go, Larry. We'll come up. That's a good play.
They'll eventually, I think they'll figure it out. But right now, it's
tough.
I've been on the field. And I've heard coaches say to other players walking by to the other team, "Hey, we've been watching. They're not supposed to do that, but it happens." So
there's the problem. One of the problems.
Name, image, likeness.
Yes.
Images, One Team Media producing Offset. Larry with the big man. Want to thank North Park Lounge in Cranberry, Brad and his team for hosting, and the strategic partnership with 93.7 The Fan.
Yeah, awesome. And I also, the Rourke Automotive Group, we are very appreciative of the sponsorship. They do such a great job over there for Dave Rourke. And again, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Next episode, what a great guy. And a Pittsburgh guy now is Lyle Odeline, won a Stanley Cup with the Montreal Canadiens, came here, played here, but this town saved his life, literally. And he'll share that
great story. Yep.
Jay, thanks, big man.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for being a part of it. Thank you.
That's a wrap.